Roll up, get your football therapy here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Chelsea News. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that. And we've got a lot of stuff to reflect on today. David Ornstein's column, always very reliable and insightful, has spoken about Wagwan with Chelsea and indeed Mason Mount, which is positive. We'll get into that as well. What did Todd Boehly say to Mason Mount? But also, what did he say to the dressing room when he went in? We know that he labelled the scenario embarrassing, but he's come out swinging a little bit more. And this might polarise people on what he said, but I think fair play. We're on the cusp, I guess, if we can call that, of Mauricio Pochettino becoming Chelsea manager. It does look like it will be him and no one else. Should it be him, right, I think there's got to be an element of just acceptance and moving forwards and just trying to back it and start again, really. Even if you don't think he's the man for the long term, things can only get better, hopefully. And he's got a big job on his hands because boy, oh boy, we need a profound cull of disinterested players and lost players, not misshapen players, that sounds like I'm body shaming them, but that just don't fit the jigsaw. And this largely, if not exclusively, is the Chelsea ownership fault, but it's something that needs to be dealt with. Maybe they had to just make this bloated squad to get the players in while they had the chance, to do the 7, 8 year, 9, 10 year amortised contracts before UEFA changed the rules. Give me now! Doesn't matter if we have a massive squad. We'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that in the summer. It's all part of the plan. Then fair enough. Chelsea ownership, I defer to your plan. You know, it's a long-term plan. By the way, I've got a really bad back, so if you see me wincing throughout the video, it's because of my back. Yo, Jan, you're always ill. You've always got something wrong with you. Yeah, I'm getting old, mate. But anyway, there is positive stuff to speak in today's video. I'll just a bit of housework, mate. Drop a like, please. Look how pale I look. It's terrible. If you could drop a like, that would be lovely. Thank you very much, and you're welcome to subscribe, of course. And because there's at least one video a day, when you subscribe, you should hit the bell notifications icon. All right. Before we talk about what Boehly's saying to the players in the dressing room, let's read David Ornstein's segment on Chelsea and his column on The Athletic, because I like this. Talks between Mount and Boehly over midfielders' Chelsea future. So, this is interesting, because Boehly, we've seen reports on The Athletic before that the big dog, the big cheese, is not Boehly, it's Boehly. But maybe Boehly's the money man. They're both football fans or soccer fans, which is helpful. But of course, Boehly represents the money. He represents Clearlake Capital, which own the majority of Chelsea. So I guess that's why it makes him the big dog. But Boehly is like throwing his weight around, going everywhere and doing talks. So let's listen to an example. Losing to Real Madrid last week ended Chelsea's ambitions for this campaign, but with an 8-day break until Wednesday's match. Let's just all enjoy that for a moment. Oh, you don't have to watch Chelsea for 8 days. What a treat. What a blessing. The sun has shined on us. And then we've got a home match against Brentford. Oh my God, we're going to lose. The club at least gained some clarity and time to focus on plans for next season. Jesus Christ. The Stamford Bridge hierarchy is stepping up its attempts to install a new head coach, with Mauricio Pochettino now the firm favourite, and there are multiple issues to address in the playing squad. We will talk about all of this. We're not going to talk about Pochettino today, or certainly in this video. If more news comes out, we will do more videos on it. We'll give you updates on the news and how it's developing in terms of the appointment. And of course, we will do a video about how we'll set up Chelsea, what players he'll use, all that kind of good gear. So like I said, make sure you hit the bell when you subscribe. Key among these players, of course, is Mason Mount, who is nearing the final year of his deal. And a reminder, he's one of the lowest paid players at Chelsea and has been throughout his very successful tenure at Chelsea. Successful as in being a key figure and winning the Champions League, winning the Club World Cup, Super Cup, winning Player of the Year, 2 years on the bounce, getting top 20 in the Ballon d'Or rankings, all while being one of the lowest paid players at Chelsea. Chelsea, so yes, talks have postponed until the summer when Chelsea intend to extend Mount's contract or sell the midfielder. Now, that's what we know so far. It has widely become expected that the England international, so he's only 24 still, will leave amid serious interest from suitors, including Arsenal. Oh, God, imagine if he went to Arsenal. Liverpool, Manchester United, of course, it's also has been spoken about. Man City, I know Juventus are interested. I can't see him going there. And Thomas Tuchel following his appointment at Bayern Munich. Of course, Thomas Tuchel loved Mason Mount, and you can, it's not come to any shock that he'd try and bring him to Bayern Munich. Mount would absolutely eat up the Bundesliga as well. But despite that, and multiple imagine Mount like playing just off and behind Musiala, hot dog, and with Kimmich. Anyway, but despite that and multiple contract offers being rejected, the regard in which Mount is held by his employers has not diminished, and so shouldn't it be, by the way. That is like one of my biggest concerns, though, that they'd sort of come in, these Yanks, and be like, Mason Mount, just he wants that money, let him go, man, yeehaw, etc. A lot of my family are American. I feel like I need to put that disclaimer out there. But no, clearly they've looked at the metrics, they've looked at the culture. Remember, this team massively is lacking culture, togetherness, fight, pride for the badge, all these kind of like unquantifiable things that that make the great Chelsea teams had. Mount has that. And on Friday, so just a few days ago, a direct conversation took place between co-owner Todd Boehly and Mason Mount himself, where his importance and the desire to keep him was reiterated. That's good. He probably needed a little bit of that. Boehly calling him up, saying, "Look, mate, you're mustard. We do want to keep you." Ultimately, the dialogue has been interpreted inside Chelsea as a positive development, with what looked like a foregone conclusion, that Mount leaving, shifting to a feeling that it's not out of the question he stays. I think he wants to stay. They want him to stay. It's just make it work, boys. It's a huge decision for both parties as Chelsea's US-led ownership group continues to rebuild after its takeover in May 2022, and Mount ponders whether to remain at a club he joined just at the tender age of 6. While the finances involved will naturally be a consideration for Chelsea and one of their lowest paid squad members. Exactly, so like dude's almost trying to make up for lost time. Mount will earn a lucrative deal whatever he chooses. So factors such as career development, fulfilling his potential, and competing for trophies are likely to be more critical. Yeah, well, Mount goes to Manchester United, City or Liverpool, they'll just be like, alright mate, have 300k a week. They will. They'll just give that to him, or 250k a week or whatever. If Jadon Sancho gets like 350k a week and is just not doing anything, Champions League winner Mason Mount will certainly do very, very well at United. And of course, Bayern would pay him well. Tuchel would be like, yeah, he's great, sign him up. Anyway, positive news regarding Mason Mount. You'd have to say, look, I think he doesn't want to sign a 400-year deal. Not all players do. A lot of these, players from abroad come in, they see good money, and they see long-term security, and they sign up. But these players that have played in the Premier League for a long time, they've got a high profile, they know that they can get paid a lot. They could sign 4-year deals, places, get high wages, get another signing on bonus, all this other stuff. But, whatever. Let me know what you think. I really, really want Mason Mount to sign up because I feel like, dare I say, someone like Pochettino could do great things with Mason Mount. It just feels like the kind of vibe that he'd be able to coach him really well. But we'll have to see. That's a potential positive. But Chelsea, of course, are in the trenches. We're 11th in the table. We got knocked out of all competitions, often with a whimper. Though our defence is fine. It's fine. It's fine. I think it's like the 4th best defence in the league or whatever, which is fine. We just don't score goals. We don't score any goals, and we bought a lot of attacking players. So let's talk about Boehly's big angry situation. Now, these quotes that have come out as an exclusive from Rob Draper, if these are the words that are said, sort of fair play. I'm stuck between, like, Boehly sounding like a kid who's bought his toys that aren't shiny enough for him, but also a guy who's made a purchase for something. Yes, he paid the money, and there's always an element of risk, but a guy's made a purchase and just gone, nah, bollocks. This is not good enough. So, of course, that time when he went into the changing room and had a bit of a go at the players and said, this is an embarrassing situation. We can do better. Of course. But he also said, this is quoted on the Mail, "This is not good enough. This isn't what we brought you to the club for. You are not taking responsibility." Now, they're pretty potent words for an owner to come in. And this guy isn't like some art dealer who's a billionaire who's bought a football club for lols. In fact, this guy is better qualified to buy a football club from the start than Roman Abramovich was, right? Because this guy owns multiple successful sports franchises that are winners. Granted, culturally is different to, I'll say, English football, European football even. It's different, and yes, he's made a multitude of mistakes. But at the same time, this isn't a mug. Everyone you hear Lampard speak about him, hear Potter speak about him, they're already... Actually, you heard people like, the people at Palace, Brighton. I know Brighton fleeced us for loads of money, but all these people that have dealt with Todd Boehly so far, they don't take the same view as the media, going, "Oh, what a clown, lol, look what's he doing." Everyone who speaks to him goes, "Actually, yeah, this dude's, probably understandably super smart, and he's got good ideas and good vision." Simon Jordan was taking the mickey out of him until he sat down and had a conversation with him in Qatar. And he's like, "Actually, yeah, this guy's, smart, sporting wise." So he's not just some totally irrelevant to sport billionaire who bought a club for lols because someone told him the Prem's a good investment. So with that, he's probably done talks before with professional sports athletes and said, "Look, do better," even though it's not his job. But so you can kind of look at this in two ways. You can look at it, he's doesn't like his toys and he's bought loads of incompatible superstars, and he's made a crappy PSG team, and he's gone throwing his toys out the pram in the dressing room. Maybe. Or you can say this dude is, he's trying to implement a structure here. He understands that we're teething issues. He's bought players, but it can't constantly be on the manager's door. Whether it's Tuchel, we were bad under Tuchel towards the end. We were bad under Potter. We're bad under Lampard. Not all these guys are terrible constantly. There is a recurring theme of the players. Yes, there is dysfunctionality in a bloated squad, but at the same time, there is quality, man. There's quality. There's enough continuity to know how to defend and to score goals. And this dude was just look, they're almost all hiding, which I don't want to condone, but partially I can understand in the mess that is Chelsea Football Club, but they are all hiding. I was listening to the Chelsea podcast, and they were talking about the culture. Where are these players, the ones that could just step up, and they talked about Thiago Silva. And incidentally, of course, Thiago Silva is the one that came out to the media and said, this is nonsense. Of course, Drogba did it. We did a video here on it about Drogba and Thiago Silva speaking out. Drogba, obviously, I don't recognise my club anymore. He's just sort of a bit pining for the Chelsea of old, like the rest of us. But Thiago Silva is a man on the inside. He's a guy currently contracted to Chelsea, a respected senior figure, often the captain, saying, "Look, we got to sort this out. This is no good." So, but we need more of these players. Everyone else is just sort of getting lost in the wash and just sort of hiding and not really standing up. I'm hoping in the future, characters like Enzo Fernandez, when he speaks English, fluently, and he's knows a bit more about Chelsea. Reece James, when his form comes back. Mason Mount, get him in the team, get him head down, get him concentrating again after you sign him up. Get him scoring, assisting, pressing under a new coach. Chelsea players to stand up, maybe a new forward that understands, we win. Get a bit of grit in there. Because even in this dismal season, for example, even in that season where we finished 10th, we still the players stood up in moments. You know, we still did the double over Arsenal. You know, like a good Arsenal team. We still stopped Tottenham from winning the league, and they still had a put a great performance in and showing fight and spirit. You know, you still have like Eden Hazard, I believe and that season scored an amazing goal against Liverpool. You still have these moments of players stepping up, and that was Jose Mourinho implosion. You know it was, because the following league season we won the league, and the previous season we won the league. There's just no cojones on this car as players. I believe they could grow into it, and that's why I have a little bit of sympathy for them, because they've like been brought together from far and wide, but there's still an element of hiding. The ones like, you know, like Raheem Sterling, mate, you know how to just I feel like there's like, I don't know, like there's a bunch of them that I feel like they're just waiting for it to end. They're trying to run about a bit. If the ball comes to them, they might try and kick it towards goal. But that, you know, that's sort of it. Comparatively, you look at other teams playing at the moment, and there's obviously tactical cohesion, but that comes with desire and fight, you know? It's just a world away from a functional football team, Chelsea, which is really, really sad. Like, I watched the Wrexham game when they got promotion, you know, obviously quite epic, and you know, obviously they financially juiced themselves in that league, but it's still an epic, nice story. And you look at Mullin, is it Paul Mullin up front? Incredible. Look at all of them, the way they press, the way they fight. They'd beat Chelsea. They would beat Chelsea. This is a 5th division team, not in the Football League. They would beat Chelsea. And Mullin, those two guys, and I'm sorry, I realised many of you probably didn't watch that game, but this striker who plays in the 5th division scored 2 wonder goals, and he's moving like prime Drogba. Like individual goals, like taking the ball out wide, just holding players off, bullying, whips it around, curls it in the corner. Yes, it's the 5th division, but it's still players standing there and pushing on him, and he just bullies these players off. You could do that to any level of teams from the way he plays. That guy probably costs nothing. What are we doing? I mean, yes, it's going to be hard to consistently like do that at a high level, but the point being that kind of fight application. And I think one of the most salient points, self-belief. That, yeah, I can do this. I'm the boy. That's taking responsibility. And that's what, like, prime golden era Chelsea did. We couldn't be further from that. And like I said, these players are just coasting, fizzling out, sort of running around a little bit. So I've got no issue with... I realise I've just done a really long rant there. I've got no issue with Boehly going in and telling them, you know, they're being a bunch of knobbies. Still... Good news on Mason Mount. Every day I try and think about Pochettino. I'm like, right, well, if he's the best option, he's the best option. Let's just not commit ourselves to putting 100 million into his 10-year contract or whatever. I'm also reading reports, and there's been confirmed reports today that Nagelsmann thought the job was his if he wanted it, and like the interviews were a formality or something. Apparently a bit of an ego, and yeah, the more I hear about Nagelsmann, the more it kind of makes sense how it doesn't. It wouldn't make sense. Maybe the footballing directors know more than us. I mean, there's a chance, isn't there? Maybe we should all take a deep breath and go, right, who knows more about what's good for Chelsea right now? Us or the football directors inside the club? I mean, it's probably close. But yeah, it's probably them. Anyway... Guys, let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your interactions. Great comments, as always. I love reading your comments, so feel free to do so. Drop me a little like before you leave, and thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.